Welcome to How Now, the podcast where we talk about how to live in the now. And here's your host, Kim Martin Raymond.
Peace and blessings, love and light, and welcome to this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. I am your host, Kim Martin Raymond. I'm a minister, spiritual life coach, health and nutrition awareness coach, author, and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves mind, body, and spirit. And welcome to the show. If this is your first time joining us on the How Now podcast, welcome. You are now officially part of the How Now podcast family. So be sure to go to www.hownowpodcast.com, pick your favorite podcast platform, and be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe. You can also go to the banner at the bottom of the page, and it will take you to the How Now YouTube channel, where you can find out what's going on in the now and catch up on shows that you have missed. So again, that is www.hownowpodcast.com. So let's get into today's show, where we are going to be talking about creating your wellness game plan. And we're going to be talking specifically about professional women and some of the challenges that they may be having in creating that wellness plan, and how they're seeking to be the best versions of themselves. And this show is just near and dear to my heart, because as some of you know, I had significant weight loss over the last year and a half, and I travel. I am currently in sunny Orlando, Florida. So just doing a lot of traveling, and it's important to have a wellness journey in place. And to help me to talk more about this and to talk about establishing this is my lovely guest. And of course, as is customary with the How Now podcast, I'm going to have her to introduce herself at this time. Take it away.
Hi, Kim. My name and everybody here. My name is Julia Brooks. I'm a nutritionist and weight loss coach, and I am super, super excited to be here.
Awesome. We are so glad that you are here. And like I said, it's such a big journey that people are on. When we think about wellness, it's not just the body, it's the mind and the spirit. There are so many moving parts when you start talking about a wellness journey. So let's dial back a little bit and first talk a little bit about what you were doing. We always talk about times of pre-pandemic, and we not necessarily we're still in the pandemic, but we talk about what was going on prior to that pandemic in your business. Were you a wellness coach at that time, or did you start afterwards?
So actually, I was still in corporate, but I was starting to do this quite a bit on the side. So I was taking clients, but I was working with clients in person, which is totally different than what I do now. And so the biggest shift with the pandemic was, first of all, I had to learn how to use Zoom, which I'd never known how to
Right.
use in my life. I joined the Zoomiverse. And I just started moving everything online. And then, with my corporate position, all of that got shut down. And so during that kind of transition, that's when I moved into this full time. And so it was a really, really exciting time. So I moved into, to answer your question, I moved into coaching full time. And then on top of that, I moved from being in person to talking with people like I'm talking to you on Zoom right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's difficult because when you think about fitness and wellness, it is so much of you being able to see a person's full body, being able to make some assessments. Yes, you can ask some questions and do things virtually, but a lot of it is being able to see a person's stature and things like that. So I'm sure there was a bit of a curve there as well, right?
It kind of, not, I'm trying to think and give you a correct answer, because I think, of course, there's the reality of what the body looks like, right? I work with busy professional women that have, 30 pounds or more to lose. And so, really what I focus on is more of mindset and more of changing how you think about food, how you look at food, what your thoughts are around food. And so that is really, it's the same, online. And then we use pictures and things like that. So it's been very, very good, actually. A lot of people, I mean, we've had some great results, and my results have not dipped after moving to online.
Awesome. Awesome. So when I think about it, when we talk about professional women, do you have some that travel a lot, or some of them are just have a busy corporate like hours,
Oh yeah.
balancing work life? What do your clients look like?
Yeah, so I work with lawyers, judges. I work with a lot of business owners. I work with, let's see, realtors. Traveling trainers like you. I work with all kinds of people. I've been blessed to work with all kinds of women from all different areas. But you're absolutely right. They are very busy. They're always in a hurry. They're always going to their next gig. Business owners, they run into a lot of challenges. There's a lot of stress. And so we really work on that. And it's really, really important because I know that for me, I always had a high level job as well. And
Mhm.
so I don't know how much you know about my story, but before
Tell
I
us.
lost before I lost my 75 pounds for good, I had tried everything. So I always tell my husband, like, I lost the weight I lost 700 pounds because I lost the weight 10 times,
Right.
right? So I did Nutrisystem and Weight Watchers and keto and all these crazy things. And what I found is that every single time I would go on one of those diets, it would affect my performance significantly
Mm.
because there would be a level of exhaustion, a level of, not thinking straight. Maybe I was lightheaded, whatever it might have been. And in order for me to be the best in my career, I had to be able to show up fully every single day. And so that was kind of that's the importance of being a busy professional woman, in my opinion, is being able to lose weight if you want to lose the weight, maintain the weight if you want to maintain it, but be able to show up fully for your career because we are badass career women.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And I mean, and you make a key point there. It is important that we're able to show up, because I think, as I was going through, aspects of my wellness journey, that is exactly, a problem that I was facing. You get a little bit of a brain fog because, just like you said, you're feeling hungry, or, it caused more stress for me than anything else. And then I think also what happened was, as I was looking good, or, I was doing certain types of diet, and certain things were missing. And then what happened would be that I looked great, and it was, oh, you look great today, but I felt like crap. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. It to me, it didn't matter to just look good. I needed to feel good as well. And if I didn't feel good, I was like, okay, the reason why I started my wellness journey is because I did not feel well. And so if I started a wellness journey and I was supposed to be losing weight and gaining energy, and I was feeling lethargic all the time, then I'm like, this is not working, because I'm still not feeling well. Even though I'm looking good, it doesn't make any sense. If I'm looking good and I'm feeling like garbage, what's the point? Then you,
exactly.
then you go back.
Exactly. Yeah, and I don't know if this is the case for you, Kim, but like as professional women, I think that we have, I don't want to say tough careers or tough jobs, but we have a lot of high stress, right? And so
Right.
there's a reality to, if you have a weight issue, like if you have, for me, it was 75 pounds to lose. Then there's a reality to, I definitely use food, maybe a little wine on the weekends to unwind from this
Absolutely.
crazy career and this crazy
Absolutely.
life. And so when you take away all of it, right? Not just like, the week during the week, but you take away everything, all of your coping tools, your glass of wine on Saturday night with your Netflix,
Right.
everything, it becomes
Right.
really tough. And so what I see a lot of time is that we end up holding it in, holding it in, holding it in, and then we explode. And then we end up with a box of donuts on the sofa
Right.
watching TV because we restricted way too much.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right. Because I mean, when I think about it, we use food for everything. You serve food at a funeral, you serve food at a wedding, you serve food anytime you celebrate anything. Is everything has been centered, our culture has centered everything around food. And so when you
Mhm.
take that away, yeah, you don't want to sit, folded up in a corner, with a bottle of water, like, okay, this is all I got. Yeah.
Right. Out with your girlfriends on the weekend and everybody
Right.
has wine and you've got your glass of water. Yeah.
Right, right.
It's
And then you're praying, please, Lord, turn this water into wine. Please.
yes. I mean, speaking of the Lord, I mean, you said, we've been breaking Jesus broke bread to connect with people.
Yes,
I mean, we've been doing
yes.
it. Humanity has been doing it
Right.
forever, right?
Forever. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And so, and that's the thing. It's just it's how do we establish or reestablish a relationship with food?
Yeah.
Because we are in a relationship with food. And when we no longer have that food, it's like we broke up with food, like we divorced food.
Yes, I talk
And
about this all the time.
yes,
It's
yes,
so true. And we have to have a balance with food. We have to have a good relationship with food and a balance with food because, I don't know about you, but, a lot of my clients, they eat with their clients. They go to dinners
yes,
with their clients,
yes.
things like that. And so you can't be sitting there at the dinner drinking a water, like you said,
Right,
praying for it to turn into wine. You
right.
have to be able to find a way to live your life. And so when you're talking about a game plan, for professional women, the only way to do it is to find a balance and find a way to live your life. You can still lose weight while living your life. I know that it's taboo and everybody, there's this idea that you have to go on this crazy diet and suffer. That is not true. That's not science backed.
Right.
So you just have to find a way to be able to live your life, enjoy it, and have food be a side thing. It's not something you're obsessing over. Can I have that? Can I not have that? Oh, why did I eat that? I'm guilty. No, it's none of that. Food is just food. It's just an object. It's this
Yes.
pen, right? And so it's just finding our way to look at food as if it's a pen and not think anything of it, and then find that balance.
Yeah. Because when I think about it, it there's so many options. There's so many things that we can do. Yeah, because I think what happens is, especially as a busy person, just like you said, who has dinner meetings, and I travel with a coworker, and so eating with her, I don't always want it to be that I'm sitting there with 2 sticks on the plate, and they're just like, oh wow, that's all you're gonna eat, because people tend to make you feel bad if you're not eating the way they're eating. Oh, that's all you're gonna eat? Oh wow, and food and our relationship with food is so individual to that. Just like, we're all not dating the same person. We're all dating a different person, hopefully,
Hopefully.
sorry if there's anyone else who's doing that. I understand. But, in this instance, I'm speaking to the fact that, you're in that individual relationship with that person. And there are certain things that are going to be unique to that relationship. It'll be successful for you, and it may not be successful for you, Julia. That may not work for you, but it works for me. And so it's just a matter, like you said, of figuring out what that relationship is, and making sure that we're not putting ourselves in this place of feeling guilty about things. I find that the communication has been so crucial in my wellness journey success, being able to let people know this is what I'm doing and it's not hurting me. I'm
Yeah.
choosing to eat this salad over this chicken because that's my choice to make. And I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm not sitting in the corner starving. I'm eating with while you're eating. I'm just choosing to eat this particular food over what it is that you have on your plate. And we all are entitled to making choices, right?
Totally. And I think that it's really important to remember when you're sitting with a person and you're at dinner and you have, I don't know, let's say they have like fried bonbons, right? And you have a
Right.
big salad, right? With maybe like some salmon on top or something.
Absolutely.
When someone comments on, and this is very important to remember, when someone comments on the food you're eating,
Mhm.
it is because they are uncomfortable, because whatever food you're eating it's like they're looking in a mirror at their own journey and at their
Right.
own bodies and at what they are not happy with. And so if you can keep that in mind, because this will happen. People that are uncomfortable with their own body, maybe they want to lose 30 pounds. Maybe they, feel like crap because they ate a dozen cookies last night.
Right. Right.
When they see you eating a healthy, vibrant meal, they're going to comment on it because it makes them feel bad. They
Right.
want you to be eating the fried bonbons so that they can feel like it's okay for them
Right.
to eat it.
Right.
So they're going to
Right.
say, hey, like, just have a bite of this. Oh, it's so good. Like, just have a
Right.
bite. Why aren't you eating that? And oh, you eat weird now. Like, you eat differently now. Like, where's the old Kim?
Right. Right. Right.
And it's really important to just set that boundary, because as professional women, we know how to set a boundary, right? We've done it, and it's literally just, hey, like, this is how I eat now. And after you set that boundary over and over again, pretty soon it'll just be like, oh, that's how Kim eats. Like, that's just how
Yeah.
she eats,
Yeah.
like, and they don't even think anything of it because they can't see you eating any differently.
Yeah.
But it's never about you when someone comments on your plate. It's never about you.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And yeah, I think about my coworker, and we've traveled together over the last 3 years. And it's so funny how the dynamic has changed, because at first it was just like, we would go certain places. It's like, oh, we're in Texas, our favorite donut places here. Let's go, things like that.
Yeah.
And then and I think a big portion of what changed in our relationship with regards to going out and eating is that I looked like I was enjoying my food. And that's huge, because if you're sitting there and you're just like, "Wah, wah, eating this salad, it's okay," it like it's the most disgusting thing you've had.
Yeah.
When I eat my
That's not
salads,
gonna
like
last.
you said salmon salad. Salmon salad is my go-to. I love a good salmon salad. And when I'm eating, I'm just like, oh my God, this salmon is so good. Oh, and so she knows that I really enjoy my food. So when people see that you're enjoying your food, they're more inclined to be like, oh, okay, she's good, because she's enjoying it. Or you're just like, oh, I'm full. That was so good. I was a little more expressive about it. And she was just like, that looks really good. And it's funny because we went out last night and she was just like, I think I'm going to have that salmon too. Because she was like, hey, it looks like it was pretty good to her. If you're eating your food like it's disgusting, people are going to think, oh, you're not okay with what you're eating. So you want some of mine? Because mine looks like it's going to be better serving you than yours. So, I found that to be a good thing too. When people say that you're enjoying your food and that it's good, then they're like, okay, she's all right.
Yeah. Can I try a bite? Right?
Yeah, right. I'm like, you want to try some of mine? This salmon is awesome. They're like, okay. So it's amazing. It's amazing how you can change someone's mindset as well.
Yeah, totally. And I love that. Whoever's the most convicted at the table will always win. Right? So yes, if you're enjoying that salmon salad 10 times more than she's enjoying her fried bonbon, you're going to win.
Absolutely. And I mean, you hate that that's the way it goes, but it does. There's a certain mindset that comes through, and people have to be convinced that you're excited and you're happy about what it is that you're doing, about the changes that you're making. If it feels like a chore, of course they're going to go, oh, okay, well, if it's hurting you, I don't want you to do something that's going to hurt you. So let's go ahead and get that Haagen-Dazs ice cream and eat that while we have a conversation about this. If they don't see that you're buying into what it is that you're doing, they're going to support you in trying not to do it. So I mean, that definitely makes sense. When I think about it, I'm like, oh yeah. If you're like, oh my gosh, I'm on this diet and it's a chore, I don't know what to eat, blah, blah, blah. People are going to say, okay, it's not working for you, so let's do something different.
Totally.
So yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. That's something that I've experienced.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And I love that we're on the same page with that. And I also just wanted to touch on, because you said something that kind of lit my brain up. You said
Awesome.
that when you were in, when you're in Texas, there's your favorite donut place, right? And you're used to going. And I just want to make it known, as a nutritionist, I've worked with tons of people, that once you lose your weight, and even while you're losing your weight, but, once you lose your weight, it's even easier. You are allowed to be a healthy human being and a foodie. And most people think that it doesn't go hand in hand, but it does. So you can actually go and have your donut in Texas. And that's totally okay. You're not giving up these things for life, and you're not giving them up at all. What you're really doing is you're just shifting. Right. And you're deciding to eat healthy most of the time, right? And so my clients successfully, and it varies with every single client because everybody's different. But as a general rule, my clients successfully enjoy, eating whatever the heck and bob they want, 4 times a week, and then choosing healthier options the rest of the time, right? So maybe that's on the weekends, or maybe that's here and there. But it really, instead of this is where the shift happens, right? Maybe instead of where you used to go to Texas and you'd have the donuts every single time, and then the next day you'd go to Austin, Texas, and you'd go have the Tex-Mex, and then the next day you'd go to Louisiana and have the barbecue. Maybe this week you just pick one, and you just pick your favorite one, right? instead of all of them. Like for me, I am a diehard movie theater popcorn junkie. Okay. Like I love it. I still enjoy movie theater popcorn from time to time, but I don't have it every time I go to the movies. I would say 1 out of 5 times I go to the movies, I will get the movie theater popcorn. So that's every once in a blue moon, and it doesn't affect me at all because I'm not doing it every single time I go to the movie. I don't have to have it. And now when I do have it, it's a special treat and it's exciting. And I'm not just taking big handfuls and shoving them in my mouth because it's something I have all the time. And so it's about taking those moments and enjoying them and finding a balance and making a choice. You don't have to have everything. There's a lot of things that I ate when I wasn't healthy, when I was overweight, that my clients eat when they're overweight, that they realize they don't even really like that much. They just eat because it's there.
Right.
So it's about finding the things you love. And then when you have that, really enjoying it.
Right. And I think that's critical. You make an excellent point because, and then what I want to say on top of that, to piggyback on what you're saying, yes, I do enjoy it. And like I said, if I go to Texas, yes, I'm going to go and have that little twist that I like. Or if I just want a donut, I'll just get the glazed donut as opposed to getting the twist, which is bigger. I'm still getting it. It's a smaller portion. And I'm satiated, because sometimes you just want it because you really, you want it. Just like you like that movie popcorn. You don't have to get the gallon size. You can get a small, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Add it. But I think that's what tends to happen. Sometimes I think when people feel like, okay, they call them those cheat days, and they feel like they have to have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had the ice cream, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the whipped cream on top of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and have a hot cocoa with that. And then I'm going to have chips and salsa after that. And then I'm going to go and have this. They go way off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if I just say, oh my goodness, I really like a piece of chocolate. It's around that time of the month and I feel chocolatey. I want a piece of chocolate. I have those little chocolate squares, that just have the little packets that have just the little individual squares. I can have a square as opposed to eating a whole chocolate bar.
You can have a little square after each meal if you want, and it won't affect you, right? It's when you restrict it and then you go and have the box, right? And I love that you're saying, oh, people go on these cheat days and they go have everything, because we don't want to use the word cheat day, right? Because what cheat day does is it gives the idea that the food is bad. Again, we want food to be like this pen. There is no bad food. And so we want to stay away from cheat days because there's something called the forbidden fruit effect, right? And when you can't have something, don't you want it so badly, right?
Exactly.
But if you can have it and it's there, I've had clients do this. This is going to sound so crazy and unorthodox, but let's say that my clients love like Oreos, for instance, and they are obsessed with Oreos, but they can never have them because they'll always gain weight if they have them. I will literally have like a client specifically that I have in mind go to Costco and buy like 300 Oreos and put them in her cupboard, right? You can have them anytime you want. Seriously, you can have them. Now, the first day, she ate like 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The second day, she ate like 5 of them. The third day, she was like, Oreos don't really sound that great, but I'll have a couple since they're in there. And I think it's been like 6 months, and I would say 95% of those Oreos are still sitting in her cupboard because they're there, and they're there in abundance. And when things are in abundance, we don't feel the need to have them. And so, yes, erase cheat day, burn the name. That. Yes, I completely agree with you on that, Kim.
Because just like you say, if it, they tell you keep things like that out of your house. And then just like you said, if they're not there, you want them more, and nowadays with the way things are set up, all you have to do is DoorDash or
oh my goodness.
You don't even have to go to the store anymore. The store will come to you. And so, and some people feel that's a dangerous thing, but that does make sense. If you do have some things that are there and they're accessible, and especially because you have people in your family that have those things around. It's just you're learning portion control, you're learning self-control, and just like you said, if you tell me I can have it, I don't want it as much as if you tell me I can't have it ever. I'm going to want it more.
Right.
But if you say, yeah, it's in there and you can have it anytime you want, I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's potato chips in there. I don't really want those today. I don't even want something else. And so, a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is
Oh
what
yeah.
on in your mind. People think it's just, a physical thing. I need to lose weight. I need to, there's so much that goes behind that. Because just like you said, you lost a significant amount of weight. I lost a significant amount of weight. Your mindset has to change because, we push ourselves when we're trying to, start wellness journeys and trying to do things. We push ourselves to get to a certain goal. And then we get there and it's like, uh-oh, now what? Because
Yeah.
you already had in your mind that you were not going to succeed. And that's what happened to me. I had in my mind that I was not going to succeed in losing this weight. And then all of a sudden I lost it. And then I was like, now what do I do? I wasn't prepared for what comes after that. So I think, just like when they tell you to come, that you go to a job, especially in corporate America, when they tell you you're going on a job and you're going on a job site and start that job and think about your exit strategy, you're just like, but I just got here. So why would I think about leaving the job? If you're in business for yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner like that, they tell you to set up your exit plan as your, as part of your,
Yep.
as part of your
Totally.
business plan. Okay.
Losing weight really is a lot like a business.
It, it is. It is. What is your exit plan? What happens when you reach that goal? What are you going to do afterwards? How are you going to do? What are you going to do to maintain? Just like we were talking earlier, I didn't anticipate the weight loss, but I didn't anticipate the financial aspect, not of the cost of the food, but of the clothes that I had to replace. Like I said, I went from a size 22 to a size 14. I had to replace all those clothes. There was no amount of belting that was going to get those clothes to not like they were falling off of me. So,
Yeah.
you have to have that game plan in place. And that game plan also involves what happens when you get there, because that's what you're going to manifest. I'm working towards that. And when I get there, I know that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Definitely, Kim. And I love that you're talking about mindset because, I don't know if you've read the studies on weight loss, but this is a crazy number. But 95% of people who lose their weight gain it back within a year.
Mhm.
And it's really crazy when you look at that number because a lot of times when we gain this weight back, we think it's our fault. We're not motivated. There's something wrong with us. When really, no, like it's actually you have a better chance of waking up in the morning with lung cancer than you do of actually keeping your weight off, And so, when we look at that and we look at those percentages, the issue here is that these diets that we go on, they focus on the strategy, right? And let's get really frank. Everyone here knows how to lose weight, like by now. If we wanted to lose the weight, we could figure out how to do it without buying any program, without going to any coach, with nothing. We know how to do it, right? We just it's pretty simple. The problem comes with that most weight loss programs and things that I've found out there, they do not focus on mindset, right? They don't talk about your thoughts, right? And how do we change our mindset and the way that our brain works from being an overweight person to, I don't know, like the way that an athlete thinks.
Right.
Because when somebody has a really bad day, right? Maybe they get in a fight with their man or woman, and they go and they order a box of Twinkies and sit there and cry and eat them on the sofa. There's an equal person that has the same exact fight with their spouse that instead of eating the Twinkies goes on a run. And they both have the same problem. So how do we shift your brain to where you actually are the person that goes on the run, and that's what satisfies you, not the Twinkies. And it's shifting that mindset. And once you shift that mindset, that's when permanent weight loss happens.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a critical point, because it's what do we do? And just like with any coping mechanism, what is it that's going to be most effective for us? What is it that's going to, not, make the situation worse than it is? Because like you said, once you start with the binge eating and start doing it, then you fall off the rails, and then sometimes it's hard to get back on. And so much of it is understanding the science of weight loss. I had to really understand that. I had to go in and I started looking at coaching aspects and looking at nutrition and starting to study it, because I really needed to understand the science behind eating. Some people will eat things and then and then they'll step on the scale. How did I gain 4 pounds overnight? Some people don't know that it's water, or you may have had something that had a lot of sodium in it. So you're having some water retention. And if you just went back on your regular plan, then you would see that weight loss, you would see those 4 pounds come right off. But some people, they see the 4 pounds on there, they don't understand the science of nutrition and weight loss and weight gain, and they go, I already gained 4 pounds, so I just might as well go for broke and eat everything else, and because it's too late, I'm not going to be able to recover from that. Not knowing that
Yeah.
all you needed was a couple of days and you'd have been back where you were and back on track. And so it's really understanding, about nutrition and about how our body works, because our body is an awesome machine.
Oh, it's magical. Yes.
Yes, it is. There are so many things that we have set in place. There are so many things when I think about homeostasis. When I think about our bodies, if we're hot, we begin to sweat. Our body knows what to do. Our
Yeah.
body knows what to do, when we do things a certain way, or if certain harm comes to our body knows how to regulate certain things. And so it really is a matter of understanding. And a lot of that, like you said, comes from mindset.
And I love that you're saying that, Kim, because just a little secret for you and the audience, your body knows exactly how to lose your weight, and your body doesn't want you to be overweight. Your body wants you to be able to do a few things. It wants you to be able to run from a tiger so that you can stay alive at, as fast as you can.
That's right. That's
And
right.
it wants you to be able to reproduce.
Right.
Right. And it wants you to be able to take care of your young. And so your body wants you to be at a natural weight. And if you start working with your body, not against it, right? Because these fad diets, these diets that are so restrictive, it's literally working against your biology, and your biology will fight you back, and Mother Nature will always win.
That's right.
Your body wants you to work with your body, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. And it is. It's important that we keep that in mind. That there's a means to an end, that I'm working towards a goal, and that I'm not just putting myself in a position, or putting myself in a predicament that my body is not going to be able to respond to. Our body responds to anything. If I step on a piece of wood and I get a splinter, those antibodies are right. They're going to go to that space and be like, okay, something's going on here. This is not something that normally happens.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to address it. We don't just leave the splinter in there. We do something to take it out, to relieve the pain. So when our body starts reacting to the things that we're eating and a sedentary lifestyle, our body is going to send out signals saying, okay, danger, danger, something is wrong. That's why we have things like heart disease and things like diabetes and other types
Our
of
knees start to hurt.
Absolutely. Those things happen. They're in response to something. And if we don't respond to that and start taking, steps to heal it, then our body is going to, then we're going to start to see a lot of those negative effects happening.
Totally. And you talked about, having a good relationship with food, and it's also really important to have a good relationship with your body. Your body is your spacesuit. Your body carries you through the world. Your body is the thing that allows you to hug your grandbabies. It's the thing that allows you to kiss your spouse, to live your life. Your eyes allow you to see this beautiful world and to see some of the most beautiful things that you've seen in your life. And when we look at your body, when you treat your body like garbage, and then when you also look at your body and say, oh, like, it has stretch marks or this or that, or you walk past the mirror and go, ew, gross. Like you're not respecting your body, and you're not having a healthy relationship with your body. And that's where it starts.
Yeah, it definitely starts there. And like I said, as your body is making changes, whether it be for the worse or for the better, there's still a psychological aspect that comes along with that. Just like we were talking earlier, losing this significant amount of weight and looking at myself, I don't look the way I looked before. And there are some people who have gone through gastric bypass surgery and have gained the weight back because they said, I look sick. I don't look well. My face looks too gaunt. And, my jaws are sucked in. I like when my face was fuller. It's a whole lot that there's a whole dynamic that takes place in seeing that your body is looking different, your face is looking different. I'm used to my fluffy cheeks and my full face and all that, and now it's smaller than it was, and I had to learn to embrace that new look that I had. Because things like that are going to happen. Your body changes, and you have to be able to embrace those things. And I'm sure that on the flip side, for a person who is smaller, who has gained weight and is larger than they were, now they're looking like, oh, my skin feels tight. I'm not used to feeling like this. It's the polar opposite for a person who is big and is going to a smaller size, especially a size that they've never been in their adult life, or for me in my adult life, I've never been this small. So I had to say, okay, now how do I embrace this new person I am? How do I embrace this look and not have it deter me and make me go back the other way? That's why they have people who do those gastric bypass, have them do psychologicals, because there's a lot that comes with losing that significant amount of weight and being able to embrace that new body. And then, I think about, for a person like myself who was full figured, since, I had not been under 200 pounds since I was 17 years old. So I was taught how to, embrace, being full figured. And now here it is, I've lost this weight. And now I'm like, where's that girl that I was taught to love? Because we talk about body acceptance and things like that. Oh my goodness. And now I'm like, here it is. Now I'm smaller and I miss her. I had a season of remorse where I missed her because I had come to love her, because I was always told, accept it. You're a big girl. You're big and beautiful. Accept that. And I did. And I walked in that, and I loved who I was as a full figured person. And then when I lost the weight because I wasn't feeling a sense of wellness, then all of a sudden I had to turn around. I was like, uh-oh, where's she at? Because now I look in the mirror, I'm like, who's this person? I don't know who this person is. And so it's a weird dynamic. So there's so much more, like you said, that goes to our wellness journey than just the physical. It's that mental aspect as well, and finding that balance there.
100%. And I think that also, by the way, everybody, if you've lost a significant amount of weight, you want to give your body about 6 months for your skin to catch up. It takes about 6 months for it to really form out the way that it's going to form out and all of that. So don't judge anything until 6 months post. Okay. But secondly, yes, like I completely agree with you. You have to. So like for me, I lost my boobs. And a lot of other things, right? But like there were definitely things that I loved about my body when I was 75 pounds heavier, but I had to learn to love it because there was I never loved my body. And it's really, I know this is going to sound crazy, but when I learned to love my body as it was, that's when I could start treating it well and taking care of it and losing the weight. And so there are also things that I love about this new body. And so what it is it's having an appreciation for both sides, Okay, so when I was bigger, I loved, my curves. I loved certain things. I loved how, my face looked. There were certain things that I really liked. But now that I have this new body, like I love the way that my back looks. Like I was always really like self-conscious about my back, and now I look at my back and I'm like, whoa, like that looks like one of those girls that I always wanted to look like.
Right.
And I love, just certain aspects about myself now. I love that my eyes look bigger. I love that my jaw's a little bit more formed. And so it's finding those things, even making a list of things that you love about your new body and embracing that. Hey, I'm in a new space now. Like I've transitioned. I'm in a new era of my life, and there's still plenty of things to love now, just like there was then. And yes, there is a remorse period as well. That's totally normal.
Yes, and that's the thing. And just like you talk about skin, and there are some of my listeners who will know. I am 4.5, almost 5 months post-op because I lost the weight so quickly. I had a lot of excess skin, so I had to have surgery to have the skin removed. I had 8 pounds of skin removed from my abdomen, and that was something that had to be done medically because I have spinal stenosis, and so it was affecting my back. And so I had to have that skin removed. It wasn't for cosmetic reasons. They didn't do any liposuction or anything like that. They had to remove the skin because I was not strength training. I didn't know that during my journey how important, doing strength training was to the elasticity of my skin. And because of my age and because of that weight loss, I'll be 53 in a month. And so the skin doesn't just snap back like a 20 or a 30-year-old. I didn't have that luxury, and so they had to remove the skin. So yeah, your body, and even with the surgery that I've had, it's going to take a year before I really see the results of the skin that was removed. And so there's just a whole myriad of things that go along, and they call it a wellness journey because it is not a sprint. It is not something that happens quickly. It just doesn't. I mean, it's something that, you're learning as you go along. You're learning different aspects, and you have to be open to those things, and those things that you don't know about, you have to be willing to ask the questions. I don't understand why my body is like this. That's why it's, the beauty of technology is that we can hop online and join groups and hear from other people, because we're not alone in this journey. There are a lot of things that are going on that we're not familiar with. So, like I said, I know that we can sit here and talk about this all day, but I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about just some tips for people who are starting out. We've talked about some of the successes that we've had in our weight loss, and some of the challenges and some of the things that we've experienced as a part of our weight loss journey, and we're still in it. To me, it never feels like there's a time where I feel like, okay, I've arrived. I may be happy and content at the size that I'm at, but there's still some level of maintenance that comes with that. But for those people who are just starting out, who are just, getting to that space where you're like, you know what, I just don't feel well like I did a year and a half ago. I just did not feel well, and now I'm coming to you, hey, Coach Julia, how do I even start? Because I understand it starts with acknowledgement first. So now that they've acknowledged that something needs to change, what are some steps that they need to start looking into taking?
Yeah, I love that. It's funny, that creeping up question, how do I even start? A lot of us sit with that for a long time before we ever take action, and
Right.
we use it as an excuse, and we even say, we're going to, I'm going to start on Monday, and then Monday rolls around and then we don't start on Monday. And I always tell, my client, I always challenge them if they say they're going to start on Monday or they're going to start next week. And I say, well, why aren't you starting now? Right?
Right.
Because Monday is, psychologically this far off thing that you're going to do tomorrow, right? Or the next day. But then what happens is Monday comes and you're still in the exact same position. It's still just as hard. And then it becomes next Monday. And so when it comes to how do we start, just start. Just start. What are you waiting for?
Right.
If you have this goal and this journey, it is the most rewarding, beautiful journey that you will go down. It is the best self-love journey you will ever have. And it's a beautiful journey, and you don't have to despise it. You can actually enjoy it. So just get started. And the second thing I would say is do not go on anything super restrictive, any of these diets that promise that you'll lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. What happens when you go on these diets is biologically your body actually has a reaction. So we wonder why we go on these restrictive diets. So like, I'll just use keto for an example. You go on keto for a month, right? Then you come off keto, maybe you lost 20 pounds, but now you can't stop eating and you gain the weight back the following month, right? And so it's not actual weight loss, because it's just you lose the weight, then you put it back on. And the reason why this happens, I call it the diet flywheel, is because when you restrict, your body actually, your brain perceives that you're in a famine. So your brain doesn't realize we're in 2023, okay? Your brain thinks that you're still in the Stone Ages, and it thinks, oh my gosh, there's no food in the environment. We're starving and we have to hold on to everything, right?
Right.
Then as soon as you go off the diet, you walk into that buffet and you have all the food. Guess what happens? Your brain lights up and it goes, oh, there's food in the environment. Oh my gosh, we have to feast. We have to feast to prepare for the next famine. And so what happens is your body will drive your hunger hormones up, up, up until you are eating sometimes an excess of 50% excess calories than you actually need. And it'll completely turn off your fullness hormone, your hormone that tells you that you're full. And so now this is why you have this bottomless pit feeling that you cannot stop eating, right? And so don't get stuck in that flywheel. Find a lifestyle that works for you. Find a customized plan. Every woman's different. I work with a lot of women over 40. I work with a lot of women that are, pre or post menopause, and that's a different program than somebody that's 25 years old. So you have to find something that works for you. If you can work with a coach, doesn't have to be me. There's a lot of great coaches out there. But just get some accountability and find a lifestyle that works for you. That's how I would get started.
Yes, I think that is huge. And I love that you mentioned that whole thing about that feast or famine feeling. And also I think about, people who eat in their cars and only have 30 minutes to eat. You're eating so fast that your body doesn't even have time to realize that you ate. So that's why you want to, you have 30 minutes to eat. You're like, you're in your car, I got to get this meal. So you're eating so fast that you're not giving your body, and I mean your mind doesn't, your brain doesn't connect with that receptor, like you said, or that fullness feeling, and it doesn't flip that switch that says, okay, you're full. So we wind up overeating because we're in this microwave type of society. Everything has to be fast, quick. I have to be on move all the time. So yeah, there's a danger in that, and we have to be able to stop and enjoy our food so that our body knows that we ate and that we actually did. No, you just ate a whole buffet and you're still hungry because you ate so fast and you didn't give your body an opportunity to say, okay, wait a minute, no, we did this already. You're okay. Or sometimes we just need some water, we needed something, to drink, so that way we can make sure we have that feeling of fullness. And so just like you're talking about, it's starting. Just like you said, that is so critical and so key. Just start, because we tend to self-sabotage when we say we're going to start on Monday, because your mind says, oh, we're going to start on Monday. Challenge accepted. We're going to do everything that we can to get you not to start on Monday now, just because you want to.
And then not only that, but you will feel the need to have a Last Supper every night until Monday, and you'll gain 5 pounds. It's like, oh, this is my last meal before I really do it.
It's like you're not going, this is not, you're not walking the Green Mile. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get this. No, it's like, stop. But
yes.
You can start at 10:58 on a Friday. You can start at 2:45 on a Wednesday. We tend to do that. I'm going to do my New Year's resolution and I'm going to start that on January 1st.
Yes.
That we self-sabotage every time we put things like that out there that are going to be to our good. The little bad part of us says, I'm going to accept that challenge. I'm going to make sure that you don't do it. So it is. We start right then, because then your body's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Even if it's just starting with 1 glass of water, I'm not a water drinker. Okay, I had 1 glass of water. You're taking those little baby steps, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will call you out every day of the week. If you're starting on Monday, if you're starting next week, you got to sit down and you got to look in the mirror. Why are you starting on Monday? Why are you waiting? What is it that's stopping you from starting right now?
Right. And then we start putting in all the excuses. Well, because I don't have anything that I need. Okay, can you just drink a water and not drink? Instead of having that soda, can we just have a water today? Or can we, I'm not asking you to start with anything. And I think that's what happens. We put so many barriers in front of us that we make it impossible for us to be able to do it. It's like, or we say, or we make our plan so grand that we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to make the transition. We have to start small. Okay, so I drink 3 sodas every day. Okay, I'm going to drink 2 today. Or I'm going to drink 1 today. It's not I'm going to stop drinking soda and then I'm not going to eat any chips and then I'm going to start walking and I'm going to walk 2 miles. It's too much. It's too much. Your body's like, oh no, I can't do this. Oh no, that sounds like, oh, that's going to be an undertaking. So no, never mind. We're just going to stop right there.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny you're saying that. I actually just recorded a podcast about that, an episode, and it was about, starting with exactly what you just said, crashing and burning. And it happens when you say you're going to do everything at once. Our brains don't like that. Our brains don't like to change 1,000 things at once. Our brains don't like change at all. So the only way to really make permanent change is by graded exposure and by changing small things at a time. And it's been proven over and over again that that's how we make these changes.
That's it. I mean, and I'll always toot the horn of the author of Atomic Habits. It's those kinds of things. It's those small little things that we're doing, and rewarding ourselves for those things instead of going so grand. Sometimes we go, we sometimes we operate in extremes. Some things we do, and we set the bar so high that we're never going to feel like we can reach it. And or we set it so low that, I mean, it's so easy for us to step over. It's like, okay. That wasn't anything. We have to find that balance, and it's individual, like you were saying earlier, to each and every person. It's not going to be the same for everybody. A premenopausal wellness plan for me may not work for a 25-year-old or a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old. there are different things that are going on with our bodies. And so, there's no one size fits all. And you have to find what works for you. And there are going to be some changes. Your dietary or your wellness plan is not going to be exactly the same as someone else's. Even if that person is your twin, there are going to be different things because there are so many other variables that come into that wellness journey. Lifestyle, whether you are single, married, whether you have children or not, there are certain things that come into play, and everybody doesn't have the exact same variable. So you're going to find that your wellness journey is going to be different. It's going to be different for everybody.
Always. I love that you're saying
oh
that.
my
You're
goodness.
like preaching to, giving me the words I love to hear. Yes, always.
Yes. But I love that you gave those tips because those are important. Start now. This is how now. We always talk about doing what we're doing in the now. Start now. Start looking at things that are going to help you and seek help. We don't know everything. Educate yourself on how the body works. Educate yourself, on finding what works for you, finding somebody who can meet your needs. Just like Coach Julia said, there are people, all over. There are people who specialize in certain aspects, in women over 40, in young moms, there are all kinds of coaches out there and people who are available to help.
Yeah, yes, I completely agree. Yeah. And what if instead of starting on Monday, you ended this episode here, you stopped listening to us, and you made the conscious decision to step into this new identity, to let go of this idea that I'm going to start on Monday, because you know who starts on Monday? Chronic dieters. Chronic dieters start on Monday. If you are a healthy person, do you think that, I don't know, a person that's been an athlete their whole life is going to eat like crap and then start on Monday? No, they're going to eat healthy because that's what they are wired to do. And so if you want to wire your brain to start eating healthy, you have to do it over and over and over again. And then the neuroplasticity will thicken. And so what if you finished listening to this episode and you decided, I'm done settling, I'm done using food as a tool, I'm done being overweight, I'm going to have massive amounts of energy and I'm going to show up in the world as the best version of myself, and I'm stepping into that human being right now.
Right. That's right. I love it. And that's it. There's no time like the present, and that is our gift to us. This present state that we're in, that is a gift. That is why it's called a present, right?
Yeah. Yes, I love that quote.
Absolutely. Oh, Julia, this has been awesome. I think that anytime we make any types of changes, anytime that we make any pivots in our life, there's always going to be a process that takes place, and we have to be patient in that process. Even though we know, like I said, we live in this microwave society, we want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. There are processes that have to take place in order for us to be successful. Otherwise, we stumble and fall. If we don't have a game plan, we tend to stumble and fall. And that doesn't mean, yes, we want you to be able to look out and kind of see the end in mind, but we don't want to be that thing that deters you from taking a step forward. We've got to put one foot in front of the other, just like, when we were babies and we were crawling, and the next thing you know, we were standing. It was part of the process, but, we remembered how great it was to crawl, but look at how wonderful it was to stand. So when we put ourselves in a place of wellness and start, working on our mindset, then we're changing things for a lifetime and not just a season. I'm not just losing this 20 pounds because I want to fit in this dress for this party that I go to. What happens when the party's over? Do we keep going, or do we just go back to eating the Cheetos?
Exactly.
What's the plan? What is the plan?
Yeah.
So like I said, Julia, thank you so much for being with us and talking about this game plan and talking about the importance of just going out and getting started and looking to be the best versions of ourselves. So please tell people how they can get in contact with you if they are interested in your program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have a free class. It's the 4 steps that I use to lose my 75 pounds and keep it off. It's the same steps that I use with all of my clients. You can register for that class at www.pwlacademy.com/class. You can also reach out to me on my website, or I am on all social media platforms at I am Julia Brooks.
All right. am Julia Brooks. I'm
Yes.
writing it
Julia
down.
Brooks was taken, unfortunately. So it's I am Julia Brooks.
Okay. All right. Because she is the one and only. Okay. So, like I said, she has a 4-step class that you can take. It's www.pwlacademy.com/class.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I had that right. Or you can reach her on all social medias at the @ I am Julia Brooks. So that way you can get in contact with her and she can tell you all about those 4 steps that were successful in her losing her 74 pounds. He's 74, correct?
75.
I'm sorry, 75
Can't forget that
pounds.
one.
I'm sorry, that
The
one.
last one's the
Okay.
hardest.
Okay. The last one's always okay. Last 10. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
But she can help you to get on your way to your wellness journey. So definitely register for her class. And then, of course, one final thing that I always ask all of my guests before they go is, how are you living in this now? What are you doing? What are some pivots that you've had to make and things that are helping you to navigate in this space that we're in?
Well, I know that you've referenced specifically the pandemic, right? And so I'll use that. I have definitely slowed down and I live in a lot more gratitude now. I take a lot more time. It's funny when quick story, when COVID hit, I was actually in Hawaii at the time. And I drove by all these beaches every single day to go to work, but I never went. It was like months and months and I never went to the beach. And so I guess the best way I could put it is that I stopped to smell the roses now, and I live in gratitude a lot more than I did in the past.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's wonderful to be able to do that because, like you said, we don't stop. But when the world stopped, all of a sudden it was like, okay, wait a minute, I think I need to stop too.
Yes.
I mean, you stop and look around a little bit, see what's going on. So I love that you say that. And of course, before I let you go, again, are there any other final words that you'd like to leave with our listeners as a means of encouragement as they seek to start their journey?
Mm, just you are capable of so much more than you've ever even thought possible, and your body that you've always wanted, your amount of energy that you've always wanted is waiting for you on the other side. All you have to do is show up and take these baby steps. You've got this.
That's right. You got it. You heard it right here. Okay. And again, Julia, thank you so much for being with us. You are now officially part of the How Now family.
Woo!
Know that you are welcome to come back anytime because what's happening today may not be what's happening 2 weeks, 2 years, or 2 months from now. So you're always welcome to come back and let us know what you're doing in your now and how we can be a part of that journey with you. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. A super, super pleasure to have you. Okay. And that will do it for this edition of the How Now podcast, where we talk about how to live in the now. And until we see you the next time, I say peace.